Have you ever found yourself in a relationship that just leaves you feeling totally confused? You know the kind. One minute it feels like the most incredible thing in the world, and the next it's just completely destabilizing. And yet, for some reason, walking away feels, well, impossible. Today, we're going to dig into the hidden chemistry behind that powerful and often really painful pull.
It's a huge question, right? It's the kind of thing that can keep you up all night. Your head knows something is wrong, your friends can probably see it plain as day, but the emotional bond, it just feels stronger than any logic. So let's get into this, because the answer is probably not what you think it is. And this is probably the most important place for us to start. If you've ever felt this way, the first thing you have to understand is that this intense, gut-wrenching attachment isn't some sign of weakness. It's not a flaw in you. It's actually a very real, very predictable response to a very specific pattern of behavior.
So, what is that pattern? We can call it the cycle of obsession. From the inside, it feels like total chaos, right? It feels completely unpredictable. But when you zoom out and look closely, you start to see that there's a structure to it. And believe me, understanding that structure is the key to taking away its power.
It pretty much always starts right here, with a phase that's called love bombing. Now, this isn't just your standard, sweet honeymoon period. We're talking about an overwhelming flood of affection, nonstop attention, and constant flattery. The whole goal, whether it's conscious or not, is to make you feel like you've finally found your soulmate. And that, of course, creates a deep sense of emotional dependency fast.
So once the love bombing has you hooked, the real cycle kicks in. First up is idealization. You're perfect, you can do no wrong, you're the center of their entire universe. But then, there's a sudden shift. That's devaluation. Little criticisms start to creep in. You're made to feel like you're not quite good enough, and you find yourself scrambling to get back up on that pedestal. And finally, the discard. They pull away, they go cold, creating this intense anxiety and a desperate need to win them back, which, of course, pulls you right back into the start of the cycle when they decide to return. And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? If this cycle is so clearly this painful roller coaster of emotional highs and crushing lows, why on earth does it create a bond that feels less like love and more like a full-blown addiction? Why do we crave that high so much that we're willing to put up with the low? Well, the answer lies in this really powerful psychological principle that we can call the slot machine effect. This is the hidden engine that's driving that feeling of being completely, utterly hooked, of being unable to walk away, even when every part of you knows you should. So let's just compare two things for a second. On one hand, you have a healthy bond. It's built on consistent affection, it's predictable, it feels secure, and it creates stability. But this manipulative cycle, it's built on unpredictable affection. Warm one day, ice cold the next. And that inconsistency, it doesn't create a stable bond. No, it creates a desperate, anxious craving for the next win. There's actually a scientific term for this. It's called intermittent reinforcement. And it's one of the most powerful motivators of behavior that psychology knows. See, when a reward is given out unpredictably, sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't, the brain becomes obsessed with chasing it. And this is where that slot machine idea just makes it all click. I mean, think about it. What makes a slot machine so addictive? It's the fact that you have no idea when you're going to win. You just keep pulling that lever over and over, driven by the hope of a payout. In these relationships, the unpredictable affection from the other person literally turns them into a human slot machine, and your brain gets hooked on pulling the lever. And here's the absolute crucial point in all of this. The chemical addiction isn't really to the person themselves. It's to the roller coaster that they're putting you on. You become addicted to that desperate hope of hitting the jackpot again, the jackpot being that amazing feeling from the initial love bombing phase. The craving is for the relief, the chemical rush that comes when their approval is finally given back to you. So, where does knowing all this leave us? Well, it leaves us with the most powerful tool we could ask for: clarity. The moment you can step back, stop seeing the situation as some confusing mystery about love, and start seeing it for what it is, a predictable, almost mechanical pattern, everything changes. So let's just put all the pieces together. The idealized devalue discard cycle isn't some unique thing happening just to you. It is a known, recognized manipulative tactic. That addictive feeling you have, it's not a sign of how much you love them. It's a documented brain response to intermittent reinforcement.
And this is exactly why understanding the pattern is the first, most critical step to freedom. Because when you get right down to it, this dynamic, it's not about love. It's about control.
So, we'll end with this thought. Once you stop playing the game and start observing the machine behind it, you can see the levers, the gears, the predictable payouts, you start to get your power back. The confusion starts to lift, and you're left with a choice. Seeing the pattern is just the beginning. What you do with that clarity, well, that's up to you.